Good morning. I'd like to call the fourth meeting of the Interim Joint Committee on Agriculture to order. Everybody please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Boswell. Here. Senator Carpenter. My pen just broke. Senator Deneen. Here. Senator Funky Fromeyer. Senator Nunn. Here. Senator Reed. Senator Richardson. Senator Webb, Senator Wilson, Senator Yates, Representative All, Representative Bivens, Representative Donworth, Representative Pfister, Representative Freeland,
Here.
Representative Hale,
Here.
Representative Hart, Representative Holloway,
Here.
Representative Kim King,
Present.
Representative Cook. Here. Representative Massaroni. Representative McPherson.
Here.
Representative Moore.
Here.
Representative J.T. Payne. Representative Pollock. Representative Rayburn. Representative Stalker.
Present.
Representative Tate. Present. Representative Thomas.
Present.
Representative Tipton. Representative Watkins. Co-Chairman Representative Dossett. Present. And Chairman Senator Howe. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Does anybody have any guests they need to introduce, would like to introduce? Hearing none, need a motion to approve the August 21, 2025 minutes. Motion by Senator Boswell, second by Representative Freeland. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Takes care of that little housekeeping note. First up, always first up, we have Brandon Reed, Executive Director for the Kentucky Office of Ag Policy. Brandon, you know the drill. Announce yourself. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Committee of the prestigious House and Senate Interim Joint Committee on Agriculture. My name is Brandon Reed. I'm the Executive Director of the Kentucky Office of Agriculture Policy under Commissioner Jonathan Schell, Commissioner of Agriculture. And yes, sir, I know the drill, so motion on the bill. No? Okay, well, we tried. So thank you all so much for having us here today. You all have called us here today to give a brief update on where we are at on the Kentucky Agriculture Economic Development Board. I'm proud to announce we are ahead of schedule. You all, through your infinite knowledge and wisdom, last session set up Senate Bill 28 and House Joint Resolution 31, which gave us the opportunity under the vision of Jonathan Schell, our commissioner, to basically understand that agriculture is economic development. And I know he has presented in front of you all several times, and you all understand his passion, his vision there, and you all have agreed with that and come up with this policy. So now, as executive branch, we are here to execute your all's policy, and we are doing that ahead of schedule, and we are excited about it. So I'm just here to kind of guide you through where we've come so far. Just a brief backstory. Senate Bill 28 set up the structure for the board, and then House Joint Resolution set up the $5 million of general fund for economic development towards agriculture. So that's where we are now. So July, everything came online in July. So what we have done up until this point is we have established our board. And so with that board structure, you all put in premise that 2 members would come from the Ag Finance Board, 2 members would come from the Ag Development Board, and 1 member would come from local economic development. So our board has been appointed, our board has been established, they have met several times. And so on that board, of course, Jonathan Schell is the commissioner, he serves as the chair. And we have Dr. Kenny Burdine representing the college system. We have Lori Knoll, who comes from the Ag Finance Corporation. So Kenny Burdine and Lori Knoll come from the Ag Finance Corporation. Then we have Kevin Fields and Neil Denton, both farmers in the industry, and they come from the Ag Development Board. And then we have Missy Vanderpool, who comes from Local Economic Development. And so that has set up our board. They have set up the regular meetings to be the second month of each quarter. So like November and then in February and so on and so on. And we have set up our meetings in correlation with the meeting the Thursday prior to the finance board meeting, because we have a couple of members that drive a little distance, so we're trying to make best use of their time. So we'll meet on Thursday, and then those members will stay that night, and then of course we have our ag finance board meetings that next Friday. So that's logistically that just kind of works out. So they have already set up their guidelines and their principles. They have voted on those guidelines and principles. They have already established an application process. So we're ahead of schedule on that. And then we had a goal by September 15th to have everything up and going on the internet with the KDA website, having all our guidelines and principles in place and having our application in place. And we met that goal. So now our application is live on the internet at KDA. So all you have to go is go to KDA's website, go to Ag Policy, go over to Kentucky Agriculture Economic Development Board, click on that link, and then everything will pop down. And so our application is live. So we are very excited to start that process, to have that process in place. Our overall goal was to have everything up and running by October 1st. And so, we're ahead of schedule now. So we have really done a really quick turnaround and really proud of the staff we had in place. We did have, I'm kind of a little torn this morning, Representative Chairman Dossett, a little bit. But for a year, we've had Mr. Jacob Estes, who has come over from LRC, and he helped us get this started and did a really good job. I'm really proud of his efforts and everything he helped us put in place. But now you all have gone and stolen back from me. So Jacob is back with you all in the House Budget Committee, and he has a passion for that, and I understand that. But I just really appreciate everything that he brought to the table, the expertise that he brought to the table, in helping us set this up. So we are now in the process of hiring a new economic development director for that. But in the meantime, just starting this week, we actually, through this process of setting this up, we have 2 additional staff members that we will have access to. One of those staff members is Miss Kylie Davis, Kylie, raise your hand. There we go. Kylie has just started with working with us this week. She will be our project manager. So as these applications come in, just like the Ag Development Board, we have project managers. Just like the Finance Corporation, we have loan managers. As those applications come in, they have to be worked up. Due diligence has to be done. And so Kylie has started with us this week. And so as these applications start coming in, we have staff in place and a structure in place to work those up. So Mr. Chairman, we're really excited. That's where we are right now. So everything's in place. I hope you all are proud of the work that we've done so far. We already have some projects, and it kind of goes in line with economic development. As you all know, as these projects come through, there's some confidentiality that we have to work through, because we have a relationship and a partnership with the Economic Development Cabinet. So a lot of these things that we're working on, we have to keep them on the down low just because of confidentiality, non-disclosure agreements that we're working on some of these. But so we're working on those type of projects, but we're also working on applications coming in to us directly that we can work on. So we kind of have 2 fields. And then Commissioner Shell is very excited about this. This is one of the main projects that he is actively working on himself. So he's in the game with us, and I just got off the phone with him right before we started on another lead that we're trying to work through, and so it's very exciting. Commissioner Shell would be here this morning, but as you all know, this is Ag in the Classroom Week, so he will be in about 24, 25 schools across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Yesterday, we was down at in Murray doing Farmer Appreciation down at Murray State University. Had a wonderful turnout, wonderful event. Probably had over 200 people. Was able to recognize farmers in that area and just bring awareness. If y'all remember, about 3 years ago, we started Farmer Appreciation day and week in Kentucky, and we had that first event here at the Capitol grounds. And so last year they went to Western Kentucky University, and this year they went to Murray, and they're trying to schedule those throughout the state and travel throughout the state to do those awareness. So he was down there yesterday, and then after that event, he visited a couple of schools in the local area, and now he's down the Hardin County area this morning. He will be visiting about 4 or 5 schools in that region this morning, and then continue to do so tomorrow. So overall, about 24, 25 schools that he will visit this week for education in the classroom. Tremendous event, tremendous response from the students. Everybody's having a good time. But, agriculture in Kentucky is really exciting. Thank you all for the resources that you all have given us, the tools that you all have given us. We really appreciate the relationship and collaboration that we have with you all. And so I'm just really proud of this initiative and the vision that he had. And then you all putting policy to paper and making sure that we had everything disposable to us so we could, effectively execute your all's policy. So, Mr. Chairman, open to any questions, but that's kind of where we are right now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Reed? Chair Dawson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank Brandon for the presentation. More importantly, I want to thank Brandon and Commissioner Shell. I was in my shop yesterday morning, and they were doing a radio interview, and I appreciate the pop that I got right there. They spoke very highly of me. I don't know if I deserve it. Brandon, and I think it's important we, with what we have done, placing this agriculture, economic development there within the Department of Agriculture, not to take something away from economic development from the executive branch, but I know, I guess it's been 3 or 4 years ago, there was a project there in Christian County that was an agribusiness. No one from the Department of Agriculture was ever contacted. And I think it's important to have that agricultural background working with these industries, because we have some tremendous opportunities. And I can't help but think that both yourself, Commissioner Shell, as you are moving around meetings across the state, across the country, opportunities will arise, and we want to have access to those opportunities. And would you mind sharing what will be going there with the Department of Agriculture as far as encouragement of locating these type of ag industries?
Absolutely, and we have a wonderful partnership with Secretary Knoll in the Economic Development Cabinet. A lot of that has to do with the important work that Representative King, a bill that she passed a few years ago, that allows Commissioner Shell to sit on that Economic Development Board. And and even with the legislation that you all passed with Senate Bill 28 and some budget language over the last few years, I know that partnership has grown. There's an open line of communication. Commissioner Shell and Commissioner Secretary Knoll talk, on a regular basis, going back and forth. That collaboration is truly important. And, the good thing about you all putting the Economic Development Board under the Office of Ag Policy is, we've had a conversation this week that I'm excited about what I can't say, if that makes sense. There's something going on right now that we're working with just because of the history of the Ag Development Board, of the Ag Finance Corporation, the history they have put in place. We celebrate our 25th silver anniversary this year from House Bill 611 back in 2000. And we started in this June. We will go this year and conclude next June. But because of that history that's been put in place, we are a national model. There are other states that look at us and wish they had what we have in place. We're having conversations right now that will bring a lot of what we want to do to fruition. So I'm really excited about it. And when those conversations come to fruition, I'll be more than glad to share the backstory on that. But by you all putting this under, division, having a division with ag policy, it just allows us to mirror what's already in place over the years, but have have that option of having multiple conversations at once when we can, kind of mirror funds against each other. And then when we have that open line of communication for policy that you all have put in place with us in the Economic Development Cabinet, we're able to have more of those conversations. So agriculture now has a seat at the table. And that's a very good relationship that we have, and I appreciate you all putting that policy in place. But it allows us, every executive branch has different tools at their disposal, and we just try to leverage those tools with each other because that's the best thing for the Commonwealth of Kentucky and for our citizens and our farmers. So thank you all for that foresight and vision. We have a good relationships that we continue to build on. And so as we go forward, there's policy that you all will probably look at this coming budget session with, having to do with, ag-ready sites and things of that nature. So we're looking at policy for that, things that we can capitalize across the Commonwealth of Kentucky to make sure when the agriculture industry wants to move to Kentucky, they know the resources available in each individual area. I just want to give a shout out. Our relationship right now with the ag districts is tremendous. They help us out in so many ways. So Commissioner Shell has not only visited several ag districts in their region, but he has a constant conversation with their board of directors. In fact, I just got through meeting with their board of directors last week, talking about what I'm talking about with you all today. They're very interested. They've already been working with us. So that is a tremendous asset that we have in the Commonwealth of Kentucky with our ag districts. And as representatives and as senators, I know you all build relationships with your ag districts and you have good relationships with them. Continue that conversation because they have resources that you all have empowered them with that can help us out in so many different ways. So, Commissioner Shell, continues to build that relationship with them, who is another tool in our toolbox when we go out and we're talking to companies. We know what's available in each individual area. We might want to tweak that a little bit as we go forward because as we continue to have these conversations, you don't know what you don't know until you need to know it. And so as we start those conversations, we start making a list. We need help in this area. We need help in this area. And that's where you all come in line. We can get with you all and say, this is great. This is great. We need a little help here to clarify, the resources that we need in these areas. So again, that's thanks to you all having the vision that you all have and putting the policy forward. And it's just a privilege to execute that policy on the backside.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Always great to have you here. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for the report. Thanks for all the hard work you're doing on this too. There's a lot of us that think that this is crucially important for not just for Kentucky agriculture, but for a lot of our more rural communities. And I think it's a good first step, and I look forward to seeing where we go with it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. It's really exciting, and we hope to have some big news pretty fast. But I'm just really happy with the staff that we have and how they moved this forward as quickly as they have and the timeline that we have. So we're just trying to execute what you all tell us to do. So I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mayor Linda Gordon and Jacob Ball coming in to talk about ag economic development initiatives. Y'all come forward. Little green lights on the microphones make you live. It's an invigorating process, Representative Cook. You ought to try it. Introduce yourself for the record, and you may begin.
Good morning, Senator Howell, Representative Dossett, and members of the Interim Joint Committee on Agriculture. I'm Linda Gordon, Mayor of Lexington, and I want to thank you for the invitation, which was suggested by Representative Ann Donworth, for us to be here today to talk to you about the Bluegrass Ag Tech Development Corp. And we're mainly here for education purposes. I'm joined by Jacob Ball, our Executive Director of Bluegrass Ag Tech Development Corp. And it is a great pleasure to be here to tell you a little bit about what we have been doing. Bluegrass Ag Tech Development Corp. is a public-private partnership, and the partnership is what makes this work. Partners are the University of Kentucky Martin Gatton College of Agriculture, Food and Environment, the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, the local government, Lexington Fayette, and Alltech. And we started this partnership in 2019, and we have built this entity since then. And the goal of our organization is to make Kentucky and Lexington, the Bluegrass area, the international hub of ag tech businesses. And you will see shortly from Jacob's presentation that we are covering Kentucky. Agriculture is very important to Fayette County. It is a growing part of our county's economic development, and a new study that just came out about a month ago shows that agriculture and ag-related business contribute $2.6 billion to our economy every year. This is a significant driver also of our tourism industry in Fayette. Through the Bluegrass Ag Tech Development Corp., we are working to grow agriculture's contribution not only to our central Kentucky economy, but to the Commonwealth of Kentucky economy. Bluegrass Ag Tech awards challenge grants, and these are to promising ag tech startups that are helping reshape the future of food, farming, and sustainability in Kentucky. We have just awarded our second round of grants, which Jacob will talk a little bit about, but results from our first round of grants, which were awarded in 2024, show that the partnership is making progress. We have supported jobs, created new jobs, and engaged 36 farms. We're having a tremendous impact already on the farm, the farmer, and the economy. So our city is very committed to this project, as are our 3 other partners, and we plan to continue supporting it financially. We have greatly appreciated the support we've received from the State Ag Development Board and hope that will continue. So now it is my pleasure to turn this over to Jacob Ball and to thank you again.
Thank you, Mayor Gordon. My name is Jacob Ball. I'm the newly appointed executive director for the Bluegrass Ag Tech Development Corp. I started this summer in July. A little bit about myself: I'm originally from Nelson County, Kentucky. Graduated from the University of Kentucky and spent the majority of my career, or all of my career prior to this, teaching high school and middle school agriculture. So very, very familiar and intertwined throughout the ag industry throughout Kentucky with my work as an FFA advisor and agriculture teacher. Mr. Bob Helton was appointed as the interim director when the organization officially started 2 years ago, and now with me in this permanent role, hoping to expand the outreach of Bluegrass Ag Tech in the future. Just some background about the organization and how we got started. When in 2020 through 2022, as the mayor mentioned, a study was commissioned by the Shellman Group where stakeholders were interviewed across the state, developing an analysis to figure out was there a need and what were the benefits and potential areas of growth for ag tech in the state of Kentucky. The Bluegrass Ag Tech Development Corp was established as a coordinating body. So we are a nonprofit 501c3 that reports to a board of our founding partners, which, as the mayor mentioned, include the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, Lexington Fayette Urban County Government, University of Kentucky Martin Gatton College of Agriculture, and Alltech. The biggest program to date that the organization has established and launched is our Challenge Grant program, and I'll speak some of the benefits and impact that program is making. And then moving forward, outside of our Challenge Grant program, we hope to bring awareness to ag tech, get farmers across the state involved, and showcase what ag tech is bringing to the state of Kentucky. Hopefully provide support for incubator and accelerator program, really for the entrepreneurs and startup businesses here in the state. And then, as the mayor said, again, the goal is how can we position Kentucky as the nation's agri-tech hub. Again, we've already mentioned this, but a little bit of background on what each partner brings to the table. With the initial start of the organization, the City Council of Lexington, and under the mayor's leadership, provided $1 million to start up the organization that funded operations and grants for specific Lexington companies. Through the support of the Kentucky Department of Agriculture and the Kentucky Ag Development Board, we were also awarded a $1 million grant that we've utilized those funds and given out smaller challenge grants to agritech startups. And of course, also the leadership, Commissioner Shell serves on our board. We work very closely with Brandon Reed and Jacob before, but whoever his replacement will be, we'll work very closely with them as well. University of Kentucky obviously has a vested interest in promoting ag tech with their graduates going out into the workforce in those areas. The University of Kentucky awards 400 STEM degrees each year, with about a third of those graduates entering into ag and ag tech careers. So if we can establish more agri-tech businesses and opportunities, hopefully we can see that number go up to continue to keep our best and brightest here in the Commonwealth in the ag tech industry. And again, through partnerships with UK, we see STEM startups, we see agri-tech businesses happening here in the Commonwealth. And of course, Alltech, one of our state's premier ag tech companies, they provided a lot of leadership to our group. Previously, Dr. Lyons was on the founding committee and steering committee, and now their vice president of innovation, Dr. Kyle McKinney, serves on our board. And so they provide support to the organization and mentorship to those companies as well to try and, again, establish growth and collaboration across the state. Again, thinking about big picture, what will Bluegrass Ag Tech do as we continue to get established across the state? We want to continue to attract and support new businesses in the state and then in the Commonwealth. As Brandon mentioned, and I've heard Commissioner Shell mention it many times, agriculture development is economic development. And you guys know that better than anyone. And so what can we do to continue to attract those companies, larger companies, of course, but also we really focus on the startup ecosystem. How can we boost those agriculture and ag tech economies, and then provide more affordable, nutritious, and sustainable food right here in Kentucky and beyond? You may be asking, are other states doing this? And across the state, across the country, there are other groups. New York, Ag Launch in Tennessee, several ag tech incubators there in California. Colorado has a partnership with Colorado State University called Together We Grow, and then the Grand Farm in North Dakota. So there are other states that are doing something similar to this. This accelerator idea of how can we promote and incubate ag tech businesses. And so, I've reached out to some of these groups for insight and what's worked, what's not, and we'll continue to try and make Kentucky one of the leaders in this area. We want to make sure, though, that our organization tailors to the specific benefits and strengths that Kentucky agriculture has. So our focus areas of the Bluegrass Ag Tech, and this drives our challenge grant program. So when companies apply for a grant, their challenge grants or their projects, their companies must meet one of these 5 focus areas. We want to future-proof animal protein, making sure that animal agriculture continues to stay strong. We know that Kentucky has, between the equine industry, especially for animal protein, the beef industry is extremely vital to our state. So we want to make sure that we provide support for that area. How can we make sure that we're producing healthy food to address health needs for accessible nutrition? Obviously sustainability, and how do we produce our food and commodities in the most sustainable way possible? Solutions for mid-sized farms, especially on our end of the state. You see smaller mid-sized farming operations. So what are technologies that can help those producers that maybe can't get to the larger scale? How can we help them be more efficient? And then obviously we want to leverage our Kentucky traditions. Distilling and equine industries are vital to the entire state, but especially that bluegrass and central Kentucky region. So what can we do as an organization to provide technology to help those companies continue to succeed? As the mayor mentioned, we do have a focus. I am in Lexington, Kentucky, and you can see on this map, though, that we are a statewide organization. On the map there, the light blue counties shaded are counties that we have received applications from for our challenge grant program. So you can see that stretches from eastern Kentucky all the way down to the river counties there in West Kentucky. The light green is just are counties that we have maybe engaged with, or I've gone to events at, engaged with companies in those areas. And then the dark green counties are where you see where our challenge grant recipients have come from. So, we have several companies obviously in the Lexington, Fayette County area, but you see we've awarded counties in the Louisville area, but also even down in West Kentucky. Now, obviously, we want to make sure, and a goal of mine is to make sure that we can continue the outreach Eastern Kentucky. We'd love to see a county or represented there for a challenge grant award recipient in the future. So a little bit about the challenge grant program itself. To date, we've done 2 rounds of the challenge grant program, resulting in $925,000 of grant funding to ag tech startups in Kentucky. We collect data from those companies on a biannual, every 6-month reporting basis. And our first round of challenge grant recipients, which includes 7 companies, of that first 7 companies, they received $625,000. Those companies have leveraged that into an additional almost $7 million of leveraged follow-on investment, other grants, private investment, capital raises, those sorts of things. And then you see that, our challenge grant recipients go across a broad area of agriculture and ag tech, renewable fuels, bio-based products, precision agriculture, and equine innovation. Again, agriculture is economic impact. So of those original 7 companies, those companies are supporting 56.5 Kentucky jobs. Again, these are startups. These are small companies, but you can see that they are all growing. Over a dozen new jobs created in the first year of the Challenge Grant program. Include facility expansions. Hempwood in Murray, Kentucky. Parasite Systems is developing a new unit to help farmers and vet clinics more efficiently track parasites, so they can be smarter with how we treat those parasites. Sunflower Fuels is using renewable fuel or renewable crops to create fuels. And again, it's all over. It's a very diversified group of projects. Renewable materials, bio and pesticide controls. How do we collect animal health data and then look at those plant inputs? But obviously, the farmer impact is very important to us as well. How are these companies, even though they're ag tech, what are they doing to specifically engage Kentucky farmers? And that group of challenge grant recipients reported that over the course of their first year project, they engaged with over 36 Kentucky farms. Their projects have impacted over 1,600 acres or over 1,600 acres of either crop projects, livestock operations. So they're engaging with those Kentucky farmers. I think a really exciting data point is that those companies have bought or invested or paid over $380,000 to Kentucky farmers. So you can see that investment is multiplying and having an impact and providing income to our Kentucky farmers. So these companies provide new income streams for farmers. They may be, if some of the companies' technologies, like there's a project related to sorghum, if that project ends up, making it to market, that may provide a new crop or new commodity for Kentucky farmers to grow. And then access to emerging markets. We've seen that it's important that we provide domestic markets for our farmers. So we want to make sure that we can support these companies that might provide new markets for our farmers. We were fortunate, and it was an exciting day last week to announce our new Round 2 Challenge Grant awardees. And I believe in your package you have this information, or maybe a little bit more detailed information about those companies. But we awarded 3 challenge grants. Each of these companies will receive a $100,000 grant. Campbell in Auburn, Kentucky, so down in Logan County, I believe, uses corn stover to create a biodegradable food containers. Again, providing an additional market for what normally would not be sold by Kentucky farmers. Orb Technology is our company based here, or is the company based in Lexington, and they are developing building materials, prefabricated walls that are insulated and everything that are made from straw and switchgrass. So they're seeking patent approval and doing some really exciting stuff. But again, providing farmers with a new income stream for their crops. And the last one, a very interesting concept down in Paducah, Santerra International, and I'm sure you've all heard of the invasive carp issue that is damaging and hurting Kentucky waterways. They are taking that problem and turning it into a solution for farmers, specifically some of our organic producers. They're taking a solid and liquid fertilizer that they are creating from Asian carp. So again, providing an income stream for local fishermen in those industries, but also then providing a solution for farmers. So that's kind of where we've been, what we've done, and we can see that impact that the Bluegrass Ag Tech, under the leadership of our founding partners, has made so far. And then just briefly to kind of wrap up, what's next for us? When I was hired in this role, going through the interview process with the mayor and the other representatives, I was teaching agriculture at the time, and I said, regardless of if I got this position or not, I was invested in the success of ag tech for Kentucky. When I taught my students, the level of engagement with our students today in the classroom goes up when you start talking about technology, when you talk about business and entrepreneurship, when students see the opportunity to create generational wealth by being their own business owner. That is engaging. So I want these opportunities for those students that I had in the classroom. And so the Challenge Grant provides that, but we want to expand the operations of the organization. Again, we want to get that statewide participation in the Challenge Grant partnership. I'm right now in the process of exploring a lot of strategic partnerships with the innovation hubs with the Cabinet of Economic Development across the state. Again, making sure that agriculture has a seat at the table and those conversations that are happening across the state with all of our partners to make sure that we're scaling innovation and providing support so that agriculture is thought about. For our Challenge Grant recipients and those companies, what can we do to support them, to provide them resource, connect them with resources like Small Business Development Council, those sorts of things to make sure that they are successful as entrepreneurs and founders. We want to make sure, again, to launch Kentucky as a national leader for ag tech. Personally, I have a vested interest in how can we engage the youth. Right now, the commissioners across the state promoting agriculture in the classroom, and I want to make sure that we can continue as an organization to provide ag tech opportunities for leveraging partnerships with 4-H, FFA. How can we engage with UK and our other agriculture institutions? If there's funding down the line, I've had discussions about how could we potentially have a micro research grant so that our young students across the state can begin research in ag tech at the undergraduate and graduate level. And then finally, again, obviously as an executive director of a nonprofit, continuing those conversations to build partnerships to fund the organization to make it long-term sustainably. Again, we're so thankful for the support from the Kentucky Ag Development Board and the City of Lexington to establish this organization. But that was the seed funding round, I guess, in terms of entrepreneurship talk. So what can we do to make this organization successful long term? Looking at philanthropic opportunities, are there corporate partnerships we can pursue? And then, again, beginning conversations if there's additional funds from the legislature or other public avenues. So again, we want to continue to spur farmer adoption and ag tech across the state. Again, so I guess to recap, this is a young organization, but with leadership of strong founding partners, you can see that it's already making an impact. And I'm so blessed and thankful to have the opportunity to lead this organization as it continues to grow in the next few years and continue to grow. But we have a clear path. We want to make sure that Kentucky's an ag tech leader to make sure that Kentucky farmers are at the top of the game and have all the potential markets, to have all the technology solutions that can help them be the best, most efficient, best producers that we can be. And so, I want to invite all of the members, if in your home districts, if you saw your county shaded in on that map, and you want to meet with those companies, please reach out to me, and I would love to schedule those visits. If you're a representative and your county wasn't shaded in, and you say, hey, I know there's a business in my district that is doing ag tech, then let's connect and let's make sure that maybe we can connect them with some resources. And again, I do want to thank the mayor for being here with me today. I want to thank Representative Dunworth for inviting us to speak to the Ag Committee today, and really just appreciate the support from all of our partners and the Kentucky Department of Agriculture as well. So at that time, that concludes my portion of the presentation, and we would be happy to answer any questions that the representatives may have or senators may have.
Thank you. I think we do have a few questions, starting with me. Since I have the gavel, I get to go first, right? Thanks for talking through a lot of this. If you can, you were talking about some of the challenge grants and everything. What does that go to fund? Is it all across the board, or is there anything that you try to target, like to provide matching funds for leverage? Or can you kind of talk a little bit and get a little granular about what you do with some of that?
Yeah, so that's a good question. The Challenge Grant program is a 50-50 match. So if a company is awarded a $100,000 grant, they must provide those matching funds on a dollar-for-dollar basis. As far as specific projects, company by company, when they are selected for the grant, they have to provide an outline of what their project entails and what they plan to spend those dollars on, and then the board approves that, and then we move forward into an executed grant agreement. As far as what the grants have funded in the past, it ranges. Some companies use it to purchase equipment. We have established companies that already have employees, so maybe they, like Santerre, for example, their project is to support, purchase some equipment to expand and scale their operations that they just don't have the cash flow right now. Some of the other companies that have on our first round may be much smaller, and so we're maybe using those funds. They're using those funds to fund research so that they can get a published research paper to do a proof of concept on what their company or their topic is. So it does vary by company, but during the grant process, there are no specifics. Some companies, again, early stage startups, the grant funds for them help make payroll for a few months. But it goes as long as those dollars are spent in the project that was in their application. We leave that to them.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a good suggestion to go and visit some of these places.
Yes, yeah.
We're doing different things. I would suggest that Hempwood in Callaway County would be the best place
They
to
are,
visit.
yes.
But-
Yeah, we attended their facility expansion, and Greg Wilson and the team down at Hempwood are doing an excellent job making an impact there. And hemp is something that has been challenging, I think, as we all know. But they're making a product that is being sold, that we're seeing it in homes and in businesses. So they're doing a great job. But yeah, it's an amazing facility, and they would love to have any of you. I guarantee.
I'd like to address one other thing that you said, something that we've had some discussions with Commissioner's office and everything as well. You mentioned where it created 12.5 jobs, and the way we traditionally look at economic development, that's not a very impressive number, but I think it's important for us to focus on what we're trying to accomplish here. And a lot of these industries and a lot of these businesses are focused on supporting existing businesses, being able to take value added per acre value to corn ground with stover collection. The Asian carp issues near and dear to my heart too with my district, and being able to get a control on that helps the people that directly process the carp, but preserving the tourism and the fishing industry in the lake region and all over Kentucky is something that not enough of us know and understand unless you have to deal with it. But it's absolutely crucial in the way that some of this stuff is going on, and the economic impact in our area alone is in the hundreds of millions of dollars for all of the river with tourism and fishing, and this is a good way to support all of that. It may not create but 2 or 3 jobs, but it enhances and preserves thousands of jobs all across the state. So thank you. I just want to bring that out. I think we have some other questions. Representative All, you were first up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, Mr. Ball, thank you for the presentation. Very exciting opportunity for the Commonwealth that you're kind of leading us through here with this initiative. I do want to mention, Mr. Ball, that sorghum does have a festival down in Hancock County.
Okay.
So I'm not sure exactly how new it is, but you might want to look into that. I do have, I guess, a question around the awards and the allocations and the percentages and where it's going and how that's kind of figured out. The mayor, Lexington, has a pretty significant economic investment in this and $1 million up front. The Commonwealth has also matched with $1 million. I've noticed that, this is truly, even though it's chaired by the mayor, it could be easily assumed that this is kind of a bluegrass Central Kentucky focused initiative because of the name and the chair, but this is truly a statewide initiative. So is there any guidelines in the grant process around the percentage that's going to Lexington specific businesses or Central Kentucky versus the rest of the state based on the money that's coming in and how it's going out?
Yeah. Do you want to answer that or go on?
We don't, we're what I call a teenager. We started as a toddler a couple years ago. We don't have a specific percentage that this amount has to come, to this part of the state and this amount to the other, because we're kind of seeing what's out there, and our applicants naturally now are coming from the whole state. We started as Bluegrass Ag Tech because the partners were all located in the Bluegrass, but our original goal was to take this to the Commonwealth, which happened really organically right away. And so, to your question, we don't have a percentage, but we are looking for the diversity in the Commonwealth. I think that's a pretty easy way to say it.
Right. There's no specific on the number of award grantees, but if a company is within Fayette County, they receive dollars from our pot of our grant dollars from Lexington, Fayette County, from the city's portion. And if it is a company that is throughout the state, then they receive our dollars from the Ag Development Board.
If I may, Mr. Chairman. Okay. So there's no written guidelines, but your $1 million and then whatever we put in Fayette County in the future, you're trying your best to award those dollars to recipients in Lexington, and then the $1 million that's being awarded from the state and whatever comes in the future would go to the other applicants across the state.
And the other piece is our Fayette County money has funded operations.
Yep.
That
like
was
Mr. Ball and yes.
Yes. And so the ag development money is purely in the challenge grants. Our money is partially in the challenge grants, partially in operations. And that was how the council wanted it structured. And I think it works pretty well that we don't fund operations through the ag development money. It's worked pretty well that way.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation. I'm excited about it. I'm interested to see how we proceed in the future, and, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Moore?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First off, thank you, Mayor Gordon, Mr. Ball, for being here with us today. Before we even get into my question, a couple things jumped off there at me. You talked about food is health being an important thing, developing sustainable food systems, trying to work nutritious and sustainable food for Kentucky and beyond. Sitting on the Make America Healthy Again task force, we talk so much. How do we get Kentucky-grown food to Kentuckians that is healthy, that will lead to better health outcomes, whether that's in our schools, in our retirement homes, in food deserts. So as you continue doing this, I hope that you help solve or help work towards a solution to those problems we're currently facing. So excited about that potential. The one question I do have for you today is the funds that are coming through the Kentucky Department of Agriculture and the Kentucky Agricultural Development Funds, are all those originating in Kentucky, or are any of these federal funds that are passing through onto y'all?
I do not have the answer. I mean, we are a statewide, so it's funded by the Ag Development Board. It's just Ag Development. Say thank you, Brandon. So those funds are from the Ag Development Board. Again, the structure of our grant agreement with the Ag Development Board was the matching fund component. So again, the city of Lexington matched every dollar that the state provided. And the city of Lexington has already committed to an additional $250,000 in their next budget for continued grants. But those dollars, and I guess I should mention on the concern of dollars staying in Kentucky, our grant agreement for the companies that are selected, they must agree to stay in the state of Kentucky for the duration. The original grant was 1 year. For the second time, we changed that and made it a 2-year commitment that your headquarters and jobs must stay in Kentucky. Because in the startup space, it is some of these companies, they're looking to be bought and exited by a larger company. But obviously it's successful for them. But yes, those funds are from the state of Kentucky. But we part of our grant agreement with recipients is that they must maintain their headquarters and or at least operations and employment in Kentucky.
Thank you both, and thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure thing. Representative Donworth?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is more of a commentary than anything, and I also want to say I did not actually invite you all. I made the suggestion to Chair Dossett, so I want to thank him for extending the invitation. I have been impressed with Mayor Gorton's focus on ag tech ever since her first campaign in, I guess that was 2019, 2018, somewhere in there. And I think what we have, especially within the University of Kentucky, I'm sure this is true of University of Louisville and other universities as well. I'm just not as familiar with them. We have an incredible engineering program there, as well as an incredible ag school. And so our Division of Agricultural Engineering they put on an engineering day every year where the engineering team puts together all these kids activities, and the ag engineering is always the most popular. The kids are very excited about making popcorn and seeing how the food how the food gets made. And I think what you're doing here is connecting those dots, and I think that's so important. So I want to thank you for doing that. I think also one of the things that I would encourage everyone to be looking at is this, to your point, Chairman Howell, about these are some of the smaller numbers for economic development. These are the ones who are not going to leave us when there's a better tax incentive from another state. When we are investing in our people, they are fundamentally more likely to stay here. So I think these homegrown things are really wonderful, and I want to thank the City of Lexington for covering the operations so that we can have that statewide economic impact. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Boswell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the question I had, you pretty much answered, had regarding the cost share. What percent of the grantee, what percent of funds they are required? For me, all these programs that we're involved in the state, it's important to me that always that the grantee have skin in the game. And I don't mean a series of loans they've gotten from someone else. I mean actual skin in the game. So that, as we go forward, that's what I'd like to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. I have one follow-up question. You had mentioned in there about having a 2-year window for grant funding to stay in Kentucky and everything. Then there's no way to predict the ramp of success or interest from other people coming in and wanting to buy out some of our technologies. Do you have any callback language in this arrangement where if it gets bought out within or moves within that 2-year period, whether you get claw back some of your money on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there is language in the grant agreement that if a company is going to be purchased or those they have 30, we have to be notified. I believe it's 30 days. But yeah, there is language in the grant agreement about if they don't meet on that. Fortunately, we have not run into that yet. Of course, we're past the single year for the first round of grant awardees, so they all fulfilled their commitment. And then the second round, we just executed those grant agreements.
If you know, I don't want to put you on the spot with contract language. Please don't.
I'm a teacher.
I receive that sometime. It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
But if you know off the top of your head, that 30-day notice, what does that trigger as far as rights or obligations for Bluegrass?
I would have to. I can provide our grant agreements to you after the close of the meeting
great.
if you'd like to take a look at them.
Yeah, I don't want to take us down a rabbit hole today.
Yeah.
So, all right, thank you. Thank y'all for your presentation. Anyone else have any questions? Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you
Appreciate
all.
your
Thank you
time
very
today.
much. Thank
That
you.
concludes everything on our agenda. Before we adjourn, our next meeting is October 16th at 9 o'clock. No further business for the committee. We are adjourned.